Good morning, Counselor Fertini. Can we test your audio, please?
Yes, good morning. I'll be in late. I'm just leaving the hospital now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Check 1 2, testing audio. Check 1 2.
Okay, seeing the time is 9:30. As we begin today's meeting, I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit Haudenosaunee and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem, to be followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. The clerk has a number of updates that she will share with council for the approval of the agenda.
Through you, Mayor Brown, the following items have been added to the agenda. 7.1, a delegation regarding 14.2 DC charge reductions, presentation and delegation added. 8.1, staff update for the government relations matters. The presentation has been published. 8.2, presentation regarding the Canada-Ontario Development Charge Reduction Program. The presentation and a proposed motion has been published. 10.2.1, staff report, Administrative Penalty System Program has been published. 10.2.2, staff report regarding insurance and volunteer-led events has been published. 12.1, minutes of Committee of Council, June 3rd, have been published. 10.6.1, staff report traffic congestion mitigation, report published. 12.2, minutes from the Planning and Development Committee of June 8th, minutes have been published. 14.3, further correspondence regarding 14.2 DC reductions has been added. And 18.6, bylaw 95-2026, the bylaw has been published.
Okay, I see Councillor Keenan on the board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to add a discussion item regarding Peel Village Golf Course, specifically seniors' rates.
So that will become the new item 16.2. Okay, Councillor Vasante.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to add a discussion item on a matter with regards to the Summit on Aging taking place this fall.
Okay, that'd be 16.3. Councillor Brar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to add a delegation from Jagir Zambianco from the Association of Seniors Club for Seniors Month.
What item will that be, to the clerk? 7.2, okay. Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to vary the order of the agenda, and I would like to see if we can get the delegations that are delegating on the development charge DC reduction correspondence item 14.2. Those two delegations moved ahead in the agenda before announcements. We do proclamations and then go into those delegations and then followed by the announcements. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so that would be 7.1. Okay, so that's the new 7.1 is those delegations. After 6.1, okay. So it's essentially 6.1 and a half. Okay, so we have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Vasante to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Does any member have any declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be considered on today's agenda? Seeing none, the clerk will so note. We have the following council minutes before us today. Minutes, City Council, May 27th, 2026. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, we have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Santos to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion. We have a number of items in consent, or that can be in consent. 8.1, government relations matters. 10.21, staff report, administrative penalty system program. 10.2, staff report, insurance and volunteer-led events. I'm going to hold that one. 10.51, staff report, Susan Fennell Sportsplex dressing room funding update. 10.61, staff report, traffic congestion mitigation strategies in construction zones. 12.1, minutes, Committee of Council, June 3rd. 12.2, minutes of Planning Development Committee, June 8th. 14.1, correspondence from the Town of Caledon staff report, waste collection implementation plan. 14.2, correspondence from Regional Councillor Michael Pleshy, announcement of development charge DC reductions. Okay, so that's moved up. 15.1, notice of motion, Portugal Way commemorative street naming, moved by Councillor Medeiros. Hold. Referred matters list. 19.1, closed minutes, City Council, May 27th. 19.2, note to file, Committee of Council. And the 19.3 was withdrawn. So I have a motion, actually, Councillor Vasante, you're on the board. Okay. I have a motion moved by Councillor Pleshy, seconded by Deputy Mayor Singh to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. Now we're on to proclamations. We have a number of proclamations today. And I'm going to ask Councillor Santos appropriately to read out the first proclamation, which is Filipino Heritage Month, June 2026. And Councillor Santos, I hear we're going to have a big celebration this weekend.
We do, on Sunday. Okay, Filipino Heritage Month. Whereas Filipino culture is deeply rooted and reflected in communities across the city of Brampton, Filipino Heritage Month acknowledges the rich history, heritage, traditions, and customs of Brampton's Filipino community. During the month of June, we recognize Filipino residents for their continued contributions to the social, economic, and cultural and political fabric of our city. Filipino Heritage Month coincides with Philippines Independence Day on June the 12th, which is widely celebrated by the Filipino community as a day of democracy, freedom, and culture. It is also an opportunity to reflect on and learn more about the many outstanding contributions Filipino Canadians have made to our city, within our province, and across the country. This year marks the 128th anniversary of Philippines Independence Day, also known as Araw ng Kalayaan, or Day of Freedom. The city of Brampton will commemorate Filipino Heritage Month with a flag raising on June 14th at 11 a.m. on Ken Willen Square, followed by the Mayor's Halo Halo party here at City Hall. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Filipino Heritage Month in the city of Brampton. Mabuhay.
And I believe we have a delegation here from the local. You want to come and respond to the proclamation? Yeah, come up front. I love all the brongs.
Oh.
Okay, the floor is yours. We'll get a group photo after. For now, just if one person wants to speak to the, we'll do a group photo after,
Okay.
but for this,
Okay.
one person can speak
Thank
in
you.
response.
All right. Shall I start?
Yes.
Oh, good morning to everybody. Good morning. Good morning to all beautiful people. Thank you, Mayor Brown, and the member of council. On behalf of the Filipino Seniors Club and the Federation of Filipino Canadians of Brampton, we are deeply honored to accept the proclamation for the Filipino Heritage Month. The recognition celebrates the contribution, culture, and spirit of Filipinos in Brampton. And we thank the city for embracing our heritage and the making of the Filipino for all. Maraming salamat po, mabuhay, and hope to see you all on Sunday. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Salamat. Magandang umaga. Okay. See you soon. And if you could grab a seat, and then we finish all the proclamations, we'll do a group photo with council.
Thank you.
Thank you. This takes us to our next proclamation, and this is with Councillor Vicente, Portuguese Heritage Month.
Thank you. Obrigado, Mr. Mayor. Celebrating Portuguese Heritage Month, and today is the Day of Portugal. Whereas raising the Portuguese flag is the perfect opportunity to showcase the dynamic and vibrant Portuguese community in Brampton, the Portuguese community has made significant contributions to the growth of Brampton in the areas of business, arts, and culture, and will continue to do so. Portuguese Heritage Month recognizes the richness of Portuguese culture and the importance of educating and reflecting upon the heritage for future generations. Through Portuguese Heritage Month, the City of Brampton aims to share Portuguese culture with all residents of Brampton during the month of June, while honoring those who have made significant contributions to the Portuguese community. By proclaiming the month of June as Portuguese Heritage Month, the City of Brampton recognizes the contributions of the Portuguese community and what they have done to make Brampton's economic, political, and cultural fabric. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do proclaim June 2026 as Portuguese Heritage Month in the City of Brampton.
Do we have a representative from the community here to respond? Okay, sure, yes, come. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and celebrate this special day for Portugal and all the Portuguese people living in Canada here in the city of Brampton. I know that we had recently the flag raising and the Lusophonia Festival. It was a pleasure. Since day one, I covered that event. So it's a pleasure to be here, to live in Brampton, to work in Brampton, especially in my case. Manuel lives in Brampton, and it's a pleasure to be recognized and the importance of the Portuguese people here in Brampton. Thank you very much.
And if I may be allowed to say a couple of words as well, to everyone wishing a happy Portugal Day. Portugal is recognizing the best poet of all the world, and that's Luís Vaz de Camões. He died on this day 500 years ago. So we recognize his hard work, his part of the history of Portugal. On the way from Portugal to India, he discovered the route in 1492. So he was one of the great navigators as well. Today we celebrated Luís Vaz de Camões that was navigating at in the same boat at the same time with Vasco da Gama. So thank you very much, and wish you one happy birthday, happy Portugal Day. And if I could also say that the chosen to honor someone this year was the right one. George Neves has been tremendously in favor of our community, united the Portuguese community, and is well done, well deserved. Congratulations to all of you that honoring George Neves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Obrigado. June is Recreation and Parks Month, and our Chair of Community Services, Councillor Santos, has that proclamation.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. June is Recreation and Parks Month, whereas June is Recreation and Parks Month, which annually recognizes and celebrates the benefits of quality recreation and parks resources at the local, regional, and provincial levels. The City of Brampton is steadfast in its commitment to providing parks and recreation amenities that meet the evolving needs of the community both now and in the future. June is Recreation and Parks Month creates an opportunity to shine a light on the network of parks, trails, and recreation amenities that make Brampton an excellent place to live and play. In honor of June is Recreation and Parks Month, the City of Brampton is offering a variety of free drop-in programs and special events for residents of all ages to take part in. These activities allow for a healthier, more vibrant, and more connected community where individuals experience improved physical and mental health, stronger social ties, and a greater appreciation for the natural and cultural resources that enrich our city. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as June is Recreation and Parks Month in the City of Brampton.
Yes, we have a representative here from our Parks and Recreation team. Talk about a city that has great parks and recreation. Brampton is the gold standard.
Good morning, Mayor Brown, members of council. On behalf of both of our departments, we would just like to give a very big thank you for the recognition of June is Parks and Recreation Month. We are very fortunate to have a number of incredible parks, trails, and outdoor amenities that contribute to making Brampton what it is. On behalf of all of our staff, volunteers, and residents, thank you very much for the recognition.
Thank you, and we're grateful for the incredible staff we have that work in this department.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Councillor Pleshy pointed out, and we're grateful for developers who give development charges to pay for parks and recreation. So we have, the next one is Seniors Loneliness Awareness Week. And Councillor Power, who's been working very closely with our seniors clubs, asked for the honor of reading out this proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Seniors Loneliness Awareness Week, whereas Senior Loneliness Awareness Week is an initiative led by Genwell, Canada's human connection movement to raise awareness of social isolation, disconnection, and loneliness among seniors. Genwell is a Canadian charity that has been educating, empowering, and catalyzing Canadians about the importance of face-to-face social connection and the proactive step we can all take for our health, happiness, longevity, and the betterment of society since 2016. Seniors Loneliness Awareness Week, which takes place from June 15th to June 21st, 2026, encourages Canadians to be more mindful of seniors in their daily lives and to take small, intentional steps to foster connection. Small actions such as saying hello, sharing a coffee or a meal, going for a walk, or participating in a hobby can make a meaningful difference. Loneliness can have significant impact on health and well-being for seniors, making meaningful social connections an important part of healthy community. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 15th to the 21st as Seniors Loneliness Awareness Week in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Power. And I realize we have a delegation today on the agenda from Jambier Sambi from the Association of Senior Clubs, but do you want the additional opportunity to respond to the proclamation as well? And this would be separate from the delegation. Or do you want to move the delegation up with council's consent? Okay, moving the seniors delegation up.
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning, Mayor, member of council, city staff, and fellow residents. On behalf of Association Senior Club, Brampton, I am honored to extend our sincere thanks to the city of Brampton for celebrating Seniors Month and its continued support for the seniors in our community. We greatly appreciate the city's commitment to improving the lives of seniors through free transit in Brampton Transit, free recreational programs at community centers, and free access to meeting spaces for senior groups. These initiatives help seniors stay active, connected, and engaged in community life. Seniors have contributed throughout their lives as workers, parents, volunteers, and community builders. Today, many continue to give back through volunteer service, mentoring, cultural activities, and support for fellow residents. The Association of Senior Clubs Brampton is proud to work with senior clubs across the city to promote healthy aging, social participation, multicultural understandings, and community involvement. On behalf of Brampton seniors, I thank Mayor and the Council for recognizing the value and contributions of older adults and for making Brampton a more age-friendly city. We wish everyone a happy, successful Seniors Month. Before I conclude, I would like to respectfully bring forward one issue, only one, affecting many Brampton families and seniors. In 2014, the sponsorship undertaking for parents and grandparents was increased from 10 years to 20 years. Many sponsored parents who came to Canada in their 60s and 70s are now in their late 70s and 80s. After living in Canada for more than 10 years, many qualify for only partial old age security. That's only $180 only. Only $185 per month, and are not eligible for guaranteed income supplement, leaving some seniors facing financial hardships despite having made Canada their permanent home. These parents and grandparents have contributed greatly by helping raise grandchildren, supporting working families, strengthening our communities, investing their lifetime savings in Canada. The Association of Senior Clubs, Brampton has been advocating with the members of Parliament, ministers' offices, the federal officials regarding impact of the 20-year sponsorship undertaking for parents and grandparents. We have met with MPs across party lines and presented the concerns of seniors who are facing financial hardships after many years of residence in Canada. Our seniors have made Canada their permanent home and have contributed significantly to families and community life. We respectfully request the Brampton City Council consider passing a resolution and forwarding a letter to the Prime Minister of Canada and Minister of Immigration supporting a compassionate review of the 20-year sponsorship undertaking and measures that would reduce hardship for sponsored seniors. As one of Canada's most diverse cities, Brampton has a strong interest in family reunification and well-being of senior citizens. A recommendation from the Council would send a strong message that Brampton supports policies that keep families together and treat seniors with dignity and compassion. Thank you.
Thank you. So we can certainly receive the delegation, and Councillor Brar suggested we send a copy of the delegation to our local MPs. Obviously, this is a federal decision. There was a vote on this where it was defeated in the House of Commons, but we can certainly share your delegation, and thank you for raising it. Normally, we can only speak to the topic at hand, but we were showing discretion for a much broader view of this, understanding that your heart is in the right place and just trying to help seniors.
I know, of course, if it can be, if some resolution could be passed by the Council, that they should be supported. The seniors should be supported.
Yeah, we can, for a delegation, we can refer the delegation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All those in favor of referring the delegation to local MPs, motion passes unanimously. This takes us to our next item, which is World Sickle Cell Awareness Day. And I know this is a cause that Councillor Pleshy is eager to support.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. World Sickle Cell Awareness Day, 2006, the United Nations in 2008, and the Government of Ontario in 2021 have recognized sickle cell disease, SCD, as a global and local public health priority and raise awareness, designated the 19th day of June every year as World Sickle Cell Day. The Sickle Cell Awareness Group of Ontario recognizes SCD as an increasingly important medical issue in the province. Through education, awareness, and programs, SCAGO is doing its part to reduce the stigma and discrimination faced by the families with children, youth, and adults living with sickle cell disease. May Brampton City Council hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as World Sickle Cell Awareness Day in the City of Brampton.
Do we have a representative from the Sickle Cell Association? I don't see one here today. We will make sure the proclamation is shared with them. This takes us to our next item, and this is National Indigenous Peoples Day. And Councillor Medeiros will be reading out that proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Whereas since the official designation in 2009, June has been recognized as National Indigenous History Month. It's an opportunity for all Canadians and newcomers to learn about the unique history, traditions, contributions, and experiences of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples who have called Turtle Island home since time immemorial. The Indigenous population is one of the fastest growing groups of Canada. According to the 2021 census, 1.8 million individuals or 5% of the population identify as Indigenous from coast to coast to coast. There are over 630 First Nations communities representing more than 50 distinct nations and 70 Indigenous languages. Indigenous History Month is also an invitation to reflect on the resilience of Indigenous people and the ongoing impacts of colonization. This includes removing Indigenous peoples from their lands, outlawing cultural traditions, and reinforcing assimilatory practices legislated by the Indian Act. This June, we can deepen our understanding of the Indigenous peoples' experiences by attending Indigenous-led community celebrations or events, reading Indigenous-authored books, and listening to Indigenous readers and educators. Canadians are encouraged to learn about their stories, perspectives, and the diversity of Indigenous peoples, their history and their contributions to the mosaic of Canada, and the meaningful action in their communities to enhance truth, justice, and reconciliation. Join in Brampton's Indigenous People Celebration on June 20th from 9 to 1 p.m. and at Garden Square. Therefore, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as National Indigenous History Month in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Medeiros. Do we have a representative here? I don't see one. We'll make sure that proclamation is shared. We've now moved up the delegations for development charges, but before we get into those, we're going to do the if one more? Which we haven't added one? Oh, of course, yes. National Phlebotomy Technicians Recognition Week, and we have Councillor Brar who will be reading that proclamation. And of course, she worked in the healthcare system before she was a councillor.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. National Phlebotomy Technicians Recognition Week. Phlebotomy technicians play a vital role in the healthcare system by safely and skillfully collecting blood specimens essential for accurate diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease. Phlebotomy technicians demonstrate professionalism, compassion, and dedication in their daily interactions with patients, often serving as a critical point of care and comfort during medical procedures. The work of phlebotomy technicians supports physicians, nurses, and laboratory professionals, contributing significantly to the efficiency and effectiveness of healthcare delivery across Canada. National Phlebotomy Technicians Recognition Week provides an opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate the important contributions of phlebotomy technicians and to raise public awareness about their central role in patient care and public health. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2022 to 2026 as National Phlebotomy Technicians Recognition Week in the City of Brampton. Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Is there a representative here? Not seeing one. We'll make sure that proclamation is shared. I'm going to ask the groups to come forward for a photo. and then we'll move on to the delegations from development charges.
Can we get everybody seated, please? Please. He's the watch. Huh? Yeah. Yep. Development charges, correct? Call to order, please. Please, if we could get everybody back. If you want to exit, you could exit as well, please. Okay, next up, we have 7.1, delegation regarding item 14.2, development charge reduction. First, we have Gord Buck, founder, principal, Argo Development. Gord, please.
I asked for, board needs a couple more extra minutes. I'll ask you to move.
Okay, we have a move for extra minutes. All in favor? Okay, Gord, please carry on.
Good morning, Mayor Brown, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gord Buck from Argo Developments. We are a local real estate developer and for the past 27 years been building communities in Brampton and across the GTA. In fact, my first development in the GTA was right here in Brampton. Mike's dad, Paul Palesci, approved the site, the development site in 1999. I'm here today to speak about the housing market and the opportunity to drive positive change by reducing the city development charges. New slide. This chart in front of you shows that for the past 25 years, the GTA has typically sold 40,000 homes. 25 years ago, it was 30,000 low-rise homes where families bought and 10,000 condos that were usually bought by investors that rented them out. In the past 10 years, those numbers flipped. As price of housing soared, condo sales grew to about 30,000 a year, and low-rise family-built or family-bought homes fell to 10,000. Yet despite this shift, total new home sales remained relatively stable around 40,000 homes per year. Then things started to change. In 2023, new home sales dropped to 18,500. That was the lowest sales record of new homes in the past 25 years. In 2024, sales dropped even further to 9,800 new homes. Going all the way back to 1980, new home sales were never this low until 2025, where the GTA recorded only 5,500 total new home sales. If this is not just a slowdown, this is a collapse. This matters because housing is not just about homes, it's also about jobs. New slide. Every home built is equivalent to 4 full-time jobs. When the GTA was building 40,000 homes a year, that represented 160,000 jobs. So when the housing sales collapse, jobs collapse with them. We've lost 120,000 good-paying local jobs. And to add salt to the wound, 95% of the materials and components that go into building a house are manufactured here in Canada. It's a perfect storm. Local good-paying jobs using local materials that Donald Trump can't tariff, and we're letting it collapse. This all has a massive impact on families. The average age of a first-time home buyer today in Canada is 36 years of age. But in Ontario, it's over 40. That's criminal. We lost a generation of first-time home buyers. Mike, how old were you when you bought your first house? Okay, exactly. Well, the average age today of a first-time home buyer in Ontario is over 40. People are not buying new homes not because they don't want one. They are not buying because they cannot afford one. New slide. Canada has always been a country built on immigration. Ontario received on average 40% of all new Canadians because this province is the manufacturing hub of Canada. People came here because we offered opportunity. They could find work in manufacturing, in construction, in sales, or in business. But today that confidence has been shaken. They can't find work in manufacturing because of Trump's tariffs. They can't find work in construction because of affordability. Good paying jobs are disappearing. People are leaving Ontario because they can't get a job and can't afford to buy a house. Many of these people are moving out to Alberta. I bet everyone in this room knows someone who has moved out west in the past couple of years. Last year was the first time in over 100 years that the population of Ontario decreased. If that doesn't scream we're in a crisis, I don't know what does. Just yesterday, in the Globe and Mail, published an article highlighting how detrimental it is for communities to lose families. They refer to it as the doom loop, where when families leave, schools and daycares close, workers leave, and it's hard to come back from this. We can't let that happen. So why is housing so unaffordable? New slide. Let's compare Brampton to Edmonton, Alberta. Our construction trade prices today are competitive, if not cheaper than Edmonton, Alberta. Our servicing costs are cheaper today than Edmonton, Alberta. The difference is not the physical house or the service lot. The difference is land supply, development charges, and HST. In Edmonton, they have an unlimited supply of land. In Ontario, we have the Greenbelt, which restricts supply. In Edmonton, development charges are effectively zero. In Brampton, before the region's reduction, the development charge on a single-family home was $154,000. Alberta also does not have provincial sales tax. In Ontario, on top of the cost of a house, and the cost of the lot, and the cost of the development charge, we add HST, another 13%. So you take an $850,000 single-family home, you add $150,000 in development charge, you're at $1 million. You have 13% HST, that house is now $1.13 million. The impact is even greater on affordable housing. Let's take a stacked townhouse as an example. The cost of a townhouse on the lot is $400,000. Add $130,000 development charge to the price, add $67,000 HST to the price, and instead of selling that townhome for $400,000, it's now over $6. Combined DCs and HST can represent up to 35% of the new home price in Canada, or in Ontario. That is why hardworking people can't afford to buy a home, and that is why I'm here today. New slide, please. Recent announcements by the provincial and federal government to remove the HST on new homes is a game changer.
I think this is an important delegation. Can we have a motion to extend the time?
It's already done.
Okay, good.
I, 3-4 minutes. Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. Recent announcements by the provincial and federal government to remove the HST on all new homes is a game changer. I've never seen it in my life. We've just taken 13% off of already depressed prices. Ontario is the only province that the federal government made this deal with. They didn't make this deal with any other province, only Ontario, is because how hard our economy's been hit. Today, trade pricing is historically low. HST is eliminated. Regional development charges are reduced by 50%, thanks to Brampton Council. The province and federal governments have created an $8.8 billion fund to help municipalities reduce their DCs. What we need now is for the city of Brampton to continue moving forward in the same direction and reduce its own development charges by 50%. A 50% reduction is what is needed to match Mississauga's DC rate. The cost of DCs affect affordable housing the most. So a $30,000 reduction on a $400,000 townhouse is 8%. A $30,000 reduction on $1 million home is only 3%. You want to build affordable housing? homes that people at stacked townhouses, you need to lower the development charges. This is how we restart the housing market. When a renter can look at the cost of renting a condo, then look at the cost of buying a townhome and say, I can own a home for close to what I'm paying in rent, they will buy. This is how we bring the first-time buyers back to the market. This is how we create jobs. This is how we restore confidence, and this is how Brampton can lead. We have a short window of opportunity. We have just over 9 months where the HST elimination is guaranteed. That's not a lot of time. Every day that we delay is a day that potential home buyers sitting on the fence waiting to see if development charges get reduced before they can buy a house. That extra 30 grand may make the difference whether they qualify for a mortgage or not. There has never been a better time to buy a new home in Ontario than right now. Brampton has always been the city of growth, a city of families, a place where new Canadians found opportunities to build a life. For that to continue, people need to be able to afford to live here. I'm asking you, Council, to make the right decision and reduce the development charges. But either way, please make a decision. Thank you.
We have on the list, sorry? There'll be some questions. First up, we have Councillor Medeiros, followed by Councillor Palashi.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Brown. Thank you for your very thoughtful delegation, and seeing some of your colleagues here really speaks to the importance, and so I really appreciate that. I think a couple of things. So the first thing is, with the waiver DCs, you know, publicly, can you give assurance, and similar to a question I had at the region, that this will be passed on to the home buyer? So this is not, for example, something that's going to be for profit or anything. This really will reduce the cost, and that's the intention of this. It's really about reducing DCs, and they'll be reflected in the price of the homes, which will be at a lower rate for people to buy.
So, I hate using another municipality as an example, but in this case I will. Mississauga, we have a high-rise block. We dropped the zoning to townhouses. We got approved stacked townhouses, underground parking, we're selling 500 units on this block. That would not have happened if the city and regional development charges were not reduced, and the HST. And in the last 2 months, we have sold 350 units. Like, that's more homes than we sold. So how does Brampton keep house pricing down and not make developers rich? More supply. Always have supply of land. We're friends, but we're a competitive bunch, right? We have land that we paid $2.5 million in Brampton. It's worth $1.2 million. Every home we're selling, we're losing money on. This isn't about us getting rich. We just want to sell homes. And the reduction is most important on the affordable product because you have more units per acre. So you have more units per acre, you have more development charges per acre, right? And it just drives up the price of that house.
So thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. And I do know, and I've seen that, and I know that every developer is looking to pass on those savings to the home buyer. So that's great to see. My second question is, when you talk about the HST, it looks great here that the province and the federal government did this announcement. I understand there's a lot of confusion still in the system. It hasn't been legislated yet. The province, no one knows how to collect the GST. People, when they buy it, some developers. So can you maybe sort of bring, because one of the frustrations I always have, and I say this respectfully, you hear the provincial government say a lot of great things. I think they hit the target on things, but you don't see it enacted and implemented. So when we sit here around, I was at an event recently, and I heard the Premier talk about, I'd like to see more mayors waive DCs. That's a great, noble thing, but who the hell's going to pay for pipes in the ground? Who's going to be paying for all the things that we need as municipalities? And they haven't missed that mark. So, part of me is maybe, give me your sort of, I know you talked about how great it is. I still understand from other developers and competitors that there's still confusion regarding this announcement. So maybe you can sort of enlighten me on how that's progressing. And then after, I guess the comment is, the more you advocate to the province on our behalf, because, especially in Peel Region, we've been doing heavy lifting. Mayor Brown has been a leader on this. I know Mayor Parrish and and also Mayor Groves and Caledon. We collectively have all been trying to be very aggressive. I think there's no other jurisdiction that's been more aggressive. But we need provincial partners. Enough of the lip service. We need actual implementation. We need actual dollars on the table to support us so we can support you. So maybe just some reflection from someone as experienced as yourself.
Home buyers don't want to take risk. To sell I'm just going to use a single family home. To sell a single family home for $1 million or $1,130,000, the home buyer is going to say, what's the price? Some developers and builders are passing that risk on to the homeowner because the legislation has not passed. What we're doing, the builders we're involved in, we're taking the risk. Carney said he was going to drop the HST. Doug Ford wrestled him to the ground. Like I said, no other province got that deal where the HST, the GST portion is coming off the price of the house, except Ontario. How Doug Ford did it, I don't know. He wrestled him to the ground. They made an announcement that they're taking the HST off. Every home that we sell, that one I just mentioned in Mississauga, if the legislation doesn't get passed, we have to eat it. So, I can't say all builders are wanting to take that same risk, because it is a lot of money. But we're not going to get sales without, somebody taking that risk. And so to answer your second question, Peel Region, which Brampton led, reduced its DCs. And you did it with the notion that the federal and provincial governments were going to backstop you. You jumped to the table, and then you're hoping that they're going to throw you the line. In my understanding, they still haven't totally thrown you the line. They must. Otherwise we're going to stop development. We don't put pipes in the ground. I shouldn't have given the speech. So you took that risk. That risk that we're taking, you've taken that risk as regional council, and good on you. And every time we talk to the province, we say, the sooner you write a check to the region to backstop it, the sooner you're going to see municipalities. Why I'm here today is we're running out of time. This HST window is only guaranteed to March 31st next year. This is a great opportunity for home buyers to buy a home. We're taking 13% off, a already depressed price. And the regional development charges are off 50%. Drop the city DC by 50%. We can build some homes here. The government, then you can say, we've done everything we can do. You, the industry, it's time for you to step up, sell homes. Sell homes, build homes, create jobs. I think I answered the question. Yeah.
Councillor Plushy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Court, for your delegation. And Councillor Medeiros touched on it a little bit, but as a politician, to be able to justify any decisions that we make, we need a lot of information. And this one, the stigma around, the development industry is that, it's for profit. You're out there to make money, and how do we then look to? And you gave a great delegation, and I'm in agreement with a reduction and help, because it's not helping you. It's not a reduction for you, is the way I've been working on this for a long time. It's help for people to, like you said, afford a home that normally they couldn't afford. But Councillor Medeiros touched on a little bit. How do I now go to my residents to say they're not putting anything in their pocket in terms of, and what are you doing to make sure that they are, where were you back before COVID, when, you're paying your trades and everything like that to build a home, and you're paying the dollar amounts that you were paying at that time? What have you done for your trades and for your workers to ensure that you're bringing your side of the price down, your margins?
Well, the free market does that. So right now there is, for the last 20 years, how many a farm that we bought, and the landowner says, the price of real estate only goes up. Well, I'm old. It doesn't always go up, but for 20 years, we've seen that. We've seen a correction, like I just mentioned, that we've never seen in 40 years. We're building homes today at a loss. I'm not here to whine. I'm not here to, right? We'll start projects where we're hoping to make 4%, 5% return. Those margins, we would never even have looked at things 20 years ago. We're doing it today just to keep busy. Trade pricing, when I say it's at historically low, you know, ask Eddie, ask others in this room. Like plumbers, everybody's desperate for work, right? If you haven't hopped on a plane and gone to Alberta already, then you're desperate for work. So, what will stop us, the industry, from profiting on this? Bring on supply. And you're doing that constantly. Your draft approving site. The more land that's out there that is approved, we're a competitive bunch. We'll arm wrestle each other to the ground to get, you know, that home buyer sales. 15 years ago, we started opening up sales centers, and we're selling homes out of the back of a truck almost because there were people lining up overnight. That was day one of when there was a crisis in the market. There wasn't enough supply. Today, we have homes everywhere you can buy, and there are no buyers. The market has turned April 1st with this HST announcement. We need to continue that momentum. I'm sorry, the market has turned April 1st with the HST announcement and the regional development charge reduction that you've already done. We need to continue that momentum here in Brampton.
I think I understand, and to relate it to, and if you own a truck, if you've owned a truck for a long period of time, there was a time where that truck was more valuable in the States than it was here. And that's what I'm kind of relating it to, is I could buy a brand new truck here in Canada and I could turn around and sell it south of the border for more than what I paid. And I kind of relate it to the two. It's that supply. The supply wasn't down south of the border and it was here in Canada.
We're seeing home prices drop 50%. You know, you read the article, it's 20, from the peak of the market in February 2022, 4 years ago, there are homes that we sold that are down less than half. And we're competing, we're selling. We have some sites that every time we close a home, we write a check.
Thanks.
I'm not here whining, right?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Pleshy. And Gord, don't go anywhere. I got a few questions for you. First of all, it's not lost on us that the great infrastructure we have in our city is because developers helped build that. And even beyond what you're required to, when it comes to hospital building in this province, you're there with the big checks. I've seen you there. I've seen Argo there. I look in this room, I've seen the developers here step up. Cities have to pay 10% of the cost. And again, you're there for city building. That's not lost on us. It's also not lost on us about the affordability crisis we're seeing. Those numbers are stark, and I can't agree with you more that supply. I'm a big believer in the marketplace. But I've got a bit of work for you. I know you put the challenge to us saying cut development charges. And I think if you look at this table, everyone wants to cut development charges, and we're ready. You know, I was at a mayor's meeting in Edmonton with Gregor Robertson. I was on my OBCM call with Ontario mayors. And as you know, there are cities declining this provincial program and federal program because it's not 100%. It's 90-10. I can say confidently that I think we should have skin in the game, that we should, be part of this. And even if it's not 100% back, I want to make sure that we meet the moment. But where I need your help and where this is critical is in Peel Region, we jumped without a parachute.
Yep.
And now we're at a point where we have Mississauga, who already built all the pipes. It's easy for them on that condo not to worry about pipes and servicing because it's already built. And Brampton and Caledon, they now have we're going to stop tendering. They have a motion that literally at our next regional council, we stop building new pipes. And what you've invested in Heritage Heights and elsewhere disappears. We can't service that land. It would be a disaster. And they've said it's contingent upon the backstop coming through. I speak to Rob Flack, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, almost every few days. He understands. I think he's a brilliant minister. He understands, and he was integral in building this program, Ontario first. I think the minister federally said Ontario and BC first, and then we'll go to other provinces where it's a different system, like the offset system in Alberta. And so where I need your help is if it's done on a per capita basis around Ontario, this $8.8 billion fund, break it down per year, $880 million a year for the whole province. If it's done on a per capita basis, they're going to backstop us 90% of 30. We want to do more than 30. But you've got influence. We've got influence. I need you to push for us. There are some cities that are not growing. They're built out. We're not built out. We got land. You're ready to build yesterday. We have residents who want homes yesterday. I need your advocacy. We need for all the developers here today, we need your advocacy. On a per capita basis, we'll get 100 million, which is enough for 90% of a 30% cut. But the minister did say to me last night, with other cities saying no, the cities that jump first without that parachute, like Brampton and Peel Region, will be the beneficiaries. And so I think today we're going to take a bold step and once again jump without a parachute. I'm told a deal's coming.
We'll go to back for you.
Yeah, I'm told a deal's coming this summer. They're going to come and sign these agreements. But it's in your self-interest. The motion, which hopefully you've seen a copy of, speaks to the fact the more you can help us lobby, the bigger the cut can be. And the bigger we can really address affordability. And so my question to you is, will you help me? Will you help us lobby the Minister of Municipal Affairs and the Premier to make sure that we can go beyond 30%?
So the answer is absolutely, for sure. What I'd like is for council to make a decision to go 50, right? And the reason why that is so important, you take a medium density block, we have one in your ward, Mike, you know the one. Stacked townhouses, you could build 60 units to the acre. 60 units times 60 grand DC is 3.6 million. At a 50% reduction is 1.8 million. You get to a point where if the land's free, it still doesn't make, if the DC reduction isn't great enough. Affordable housing is affected most by the development charge cost. We want to build affordable housing. You want affordable housing built and sold in this city. A 50% reduction is what is needed to be competitive. We're competitive. We're friends, but we're competitive animals. You need to be competitive with Mississauga. Let's not have all the buyers go to Mississauga. I've been in Brampton for 27 years, right? We want to compete. We want to build on those blocks.
Yeah, but Gord, Mississauga.
But we will go to bat for you.
Okay, good.
I'll talk to Flack today.
So good. That's what I'm asking. And I was on the phone with him last night. But Gord, my challenge to you, those rec centers and those pipes in Mississauga are already built. There's not the rec centers in Heritage Heights. There's not the rec centers in East Brampton and those empty fields. You can't sell homes if you tell the people there's no parks, there's no fire halls, there's no recreation centers. And so right now, if it's a per capita basis, the province is saying they'll fund us up to 30%. What we're saying is we want to go beyond that. They'll announce in July what that number is. I can't say to our residents, we're gonna raise taxes to cover that 90 million difference. I can't tell them that they're not gonna get that park or rec center. I want to get to 50% or even higher. But what I'm saying is there needs to be a united front amongst the development community to lobby with us, not to say, that residents have to back right half the cost. We want you to lobby with us enthusiastically, and I'm convinced. I'm a good friend of Rob Flack's. I think he's a great minister. I think if we're united and collaborative, we can get him there, and I think he's almost there already. Do we have your commitment to help us with that?
100%. And our friends here will come with me.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Vicente.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you for bringing this here today and great discussion and very clear on what is needed to be done. A little bit further to Councillor Medeiros' comments with regards to the passing on of the savings. Would you and the industry be willing to, in some way or fashion, when you draft up a sales contract, include an estimate or a number on that sales contract of the savings that are being passed on or that the savings that are being realized in that contract from whether it's from federal sources. You mentioned that the HST is a savings. The reduction in DCs from Peel Region and now from the lower tier municipality here at the City of Brampton. Is that something that you could, in some way or fashion, highlight on your sales agreement?
If council makes a decision today to drop their DCs by 50%, every single builder here is going to be changing their house price today, right? This HST announcement was huge. People are sitting on the fence. The last thing, I'd sooner City of Brampton or Brampton Council make a decision, we're not doing anything ever. At least we get those, so everybody knows, okay, well, that is the price. There is so much supply in the market. There's very few buyers. We're all dropping our price today if you make that announcement. You make that commitment, we're dropping it.
And if I may, through you, Mayor, is there a way that you could indicate that number, that specific savings to your buyers so that they are aware of where the lifting and where these reductions are coming from?
I'm sure there is. You know, because what we're showing on price list right now, this was the price with the HST and before the regional development charge. What we'd like to do is show this was the price, the HST, the house price today, the regional development charge, the house price today, the city development charge, what it was, and the house price today. You make that decision today, we'll be dropping our prices today.
And that would be wonderful if that could be telegraphed in a fashion as you have indicated. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Gord, for coming in and delegating here today and giving us some insight from your perspective on where the market is. I just have a couple questions, just basing on listening to the colleagues and some of the conversation. You know, I heard 30%, 50%, and I've heard about timing. So from what I'm hearing from the mayor and his conversations with the minister is obviously we're going to be committed to doing a minimum here today. The possibility of taking that to hope maybe even exceeding the 50%. But that would be based on the timing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor, of July. We'll know for sure in July on what that percentage is going to be?
That's what the minister is saying. He wants the announcements in the summer.
When you base it on the time to act is now, we need to hit this, you know, running today on what that's going to be. Is July too far out of that timeline to wait to see that percentage would be my first question. My second question would be, would you go to market on the 30% guarantee and let your current buyers know that there is a possibility of another 20% coming from the municipality? Are those options that you have as a developer today to do, or are you willing to do?
So when a homeowner buys a house, they put up a deposit and they sign a contract, and that contract has a price. If what we'd like, what we'd like to do is change our price list today, right? Say in July, then why don't we just tell all the home buyers, don't buy a home till July? That 9-month window of HST, every month it's getting smaller and smaller. We don't want to sell all the homes in January, February, March next year. We'd like to sell some for the balance of this year. Make the decision. Just say, like, we'd like, and I believe what happened in Ottawa, they dropped the DCs and is dated as of, backdated. You don't need to backdate. Just as of today, the development charges dropped to 50%. We'll change our price list today.
So would you change your price list again if today you knew
But to go to 30%, Dennis, and so a homeowner buys a house, they sign a contract. A month from now, we go ahead and say, hey, we're going to some builders may not want to do that. The right thing to do is you sign a contract. That's the contract. That's the price. Do the reduction so we can do the reduction.
Yeah. No, and I agree, and I agree, and I know that there's a lot of people around the table, Mayor included, were pushing for that 50% from the onset. It was really trying to understand what was coming from the province, which I don't have those channels to go in and speak So I do mine through the mayor. So I'm learning a little bit more about it today as we sit and speak about it. So I look forward to see what's coming and see how we can support the industry in what way. But I believe the timing is key. I don't know if the minister is going to step up and give us an announcement first before and do it in short order. So that's what I'd be waiting to see. But I really do appreciate coming in. Thanks.
The one commitment Patrick or Mayor Brown asked, like, we'll stand with you. You have a meeting with FLAC, we'll go anywhere at any time, not just myself, a team of us will, and just say, we need the infrastructure. The development charges doesn't go to your coffers. We need the parks, the rec centers, you know, the ambulance. We need that infrastructure. We need you. You're not getting rich on development charges. We need you to be backfilled, right? But what we do need is the cost to come down. We need to be more competitive with provinces like Alberta that don't have HST. They don't have development charges. You know, they're newer cities. They're not as old as the GTA.
Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And you talked about competitiveness, Gord, so I'll go out and ask you straight up. Mississauga's got 50%, Vaughan's up to 100, other municipalities that are connected to our borders are looking at the potential of 50. Brampton does 30. What do?
We dropped the price 30%. So then you're not as competitive as Mississauga. So where a homeowner is looking to buy similar product, Mississauga has an added advantage because it's a competitive market today.
Thanks, Gord.
Okay, on that note, to our planning commissioner or to the CEO, when Brampton decides we want to cut DCs, and we're one of the cities that enters this program, how long does it take for that to take effect? And so how long for us to pass this new?
Through you, Mayor Brown, if there was a decision of council today or very soon, the bylaw could be prepared and brought forward to the next available council meeting.
Which is in 2 weeks. Yeah,
Through
or
you, Mayor Brown,
I'd even say as soon as we get so whether it's 2 weeks or 4 weeks, we're talking about almost the same amount of time. And so if we have to call a special, say the minister says, this is your rate, July 3rd, you've got council's commitment to call, my commitment to call a special council meeting. But I just wanted what you to understand is that right now on a per capita basis, we get funding for 100 million and minus our 10%, that's 90 million. And that allows us to do a 30%. What we're asking for, and by the way, the minister did tell me last night, shoot for the moon, you're going to get some stars. When I told him the number we wanted, I sent him the motion. If we get 190 million, we can do a 50% cut. But if someone came to you and they want to buy a house, and they said they have financing for 500,000, will you trust them that they'll find a way to get the other 500,000? But right now they're only financed. They can only give you 500,000. Would you sell them that house and take a paper note for the other 500,000? Or do you tell them go to the bank and get the financing for the whole house?
Not sure I understand the question.
Thank you. But my point is, we can get here. We can get to 50%. The minister told me our motion's beautiful, shoot for the moon, and you're going to get some stars. But we need your help to get there, and time is critical. Literally, these decisions are being made now. Other cities are opting out because it's not 100%. We want to take that leap, but we don't want to take the leap at 30%. We want to take the leap at 50%. We need your help to do that. We've got some other delegations. Thank you. And I apologize to Gord. Gord's a legend in the industry. He's the first one to delegate, and so he has all the hard questions. But you answered them beautifully, and you've been a great friend to the city, a tremendous friend to the city.
Thank you.
Our next delegation is from Darren Steedman, Vice President of DG Group. You may remember him from his penalty shot at Hockey Night in Brampton 2019 when he scored, and DG was the lead sponsor of the hospital fundraising.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad you remember that, because I do too. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Darren Steedman, and I am the hockey goal scorer of 2019 and Vice President of DG Group. It's a pleasure being here today. It's I had a ton of notes here, and my colleague and the legend, Gord Buck, did a great job. Giving you the stats, giving you perspective, giving you, I think, everything you need to know. So I'm not going to go down that path again. I'm going to talk a little bit about logistics of how this all comes together, because we are in a unprecedented time. We have an engaged federal government in a program to reduce DCs. And at least in my career, that has never happened. They are in the city building housing affordability business, and we need to latch on to their involvement and leverage that engagement and try to get the best deal for the city of Brampton. So what does that mean? The province and the feds have teamed up, and they have the development charge reduction program that is out there right now. And applications, the way I understand the criteria, are due June 19th, 2026. So not too far off. So the discussion about getting council back would have to be very short and very kind of close, because my understanding is that the key criteria of getting into the application window is setting a reduction between 30 and 50%. So that's step one, in my humble opinion, that I think this council needs to wrestle with and decide whether it's 30, 50, 60, 75, or 100, like some other municipalities are doing, trying to stimulate affordability in their municipalities. And they are all applying to this program as well, because the province and the feds have teamed up, $8.8 billion over 10 years. That can always increase, but this is the first step. So I think from our perspective, we have heard great news about the HST, and I won't get into the details associated with that. We have heard the great news in the city of Brampton that the Region Appeal has dropped it, and we're still worried about funding with respect to the Region Appeal. And we need something from the city of Brampton that clearly outlines what the application is going to say, in our humble opinion. Is it 30? Is it 50? Is it something else? And I think what that does is gives a clear picture to future Bramptonians that are looking to buy a house, that want to live in Brampton, that not only are the developers looking internally and trying to lower costs, as Gord Buck has identified. We've done it too in our shop. We're looking internally. We are talking to the province and getting them to try to come to the table. HST reduction is a key component of that. We looked internally. Brampton needs to look internally and try to figure out how we make housing more affordable in the city of Brampton. And the competitiveness, as Gord Buck described, is prevalent in the Region Appeal, so that includes Caledon and in Mississauga. And like I said at the outset, every municipality that we do work in across Southern Ontario is applying for this application. So I guess to wrap up my brief comments is that I would stress for clarity here today on what that number is. And I think that clarity will not only go to the industry, it would also go to those Bramptonians that are either in a basement or an apartment or thinking, or recent immigrants, or somebody who wants to upsize, to say, okay, here is the number that it's going to be for the window between now and April 1st, when the HST gets eliminated. And like Gord said, 13% off a house is a huge benefit, and we are suggesting that any efforts to lower affordability brings jobs back to the table, brings people back to the market, and hopefully Bramptonians that enjoy this great city like we have over the last 40 years. So those are my final comments, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have for me, but I'm glad that Gord answered all your questions already.
First question is from Councillor Pellecci.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Darren, for your delegation. Kind of along the same lines as the questions that I asked Gord. But I think that you've been in Brampton for a number of years. At the time, many years ago, housing was booming. People could afford houses, and life was grand. There was the payment for, the DC was payable at occupancy. And the industry had recognized that municipalities like the city of Brampton, like other municipalities, were struggling because we know growth doesn't pay for growth. As much as anybody wants to say it, growth doesn't pay for growth. But you recognize that the industry was paying, and I believe it was you and your firm that led the charge in, and it was Brampton was one of the first municipalities to change that payable at occupancy to payable at site plan, payable at draft plan, payable at something, well before people are actually moving into the house, well before their organizations are getting the funding from, getting the money from the purchase, paying the house. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you'll know certainly the knowledge, you have the firsthand knowledge about that. And then I'm going to also ask you about what you guys did in Springdale for the hospital, but I'll come to that.
Sure. Okay, first question first. In my career here in Brampton and in the Region of Peel, we've had, let's call them blips in the economy along the way. The Region of Peel originally collected at building permits, and the City of Brampton collected at building permits. And the Region of Peel was into they're called development charge reserves, and their development charge reserves were dwindling, and they were looking for cash up front. So sooner in the process versus building permits or occupancy, it's actually something called registration of a plan of subdivision. So I was the chapter chair of BUILD at the time, which is the Building Industry Land Development Association. And we worked with the region to, number one, understand their constraint. We realized their constraint, and we moved DC payments from individual building permits to actually moving it up in time, which helps from a cash flow perspective, to a registration and a lump sum. So if you, for example, if you register 200 units, you would pay your 200 DCs right at that particular time, versus the existing situation at the time was individual building permits. So obviously you wouldn't pull 200 building permits at once. You would actually do it as the market dictates. So now the legislation is that you pull at occupancy. So it's been pushed back, which is another provincial initiative to try and ease the cash flow and increase the affordability of housing. Second question?
Not the second question yet. Let's stay on this one and say, like, if there was a reduction, let's say there could be more than a 30 and potentially could be a 50. Could we, even though the region, the province says that you can make those payments at occupancy, which is certainly not the best for us here at the city, would there be an opportunity maybe for the industry to look at potentially for the city of Brampton, if we were to say we could go up to 50%, potentially could we come to some sort of agreement that you would continue making those payments at registration as opposed to occupancy?
Yeah, I think I don't really want to negotiate here on the council floor.
100%.
But those tools are in the toolbox, so to speak, to try and find out. The overall goal for us is to make housing more affordable. Cash flow comes into play, labor comes into play, land costs, DCs, taxes, etc. And we have been trying to get us into a position where we can sell more houses to people that want to buy houses. So if there is initiatives that go beyond what this federal and provincial development charge reduction program is, we're happy to have a conversation of it. My delegation here today is to try and encourage what we know today and what the program is out there on the street, so to speak, today, and how Brampton can get their best foot forward into that to, I think, what everybody's overall goal from what I've heard in the earlier discussion is to try and increase affordability in the city of Brampton. Mm-hmm. We've dropped our prices. Everybody in the industry has dropped prices to get more competitive. The HST is a huge benefit. DC reductions are a huge benefit. It's really overall trying to knock down the house prices. And quite frankly, council can get together 6 months from now and change their minds and undo what it is. But where we are here today with the deadlines that are put forth by the provincial and federal governments for that application, I'm suggesting that we need to put our best foot forward, and I'd love to have 50% at this particular point.
Appreciate that. And just on the continuing to ensure people understand the industry, They don't get to hear a lot about what you give back to the community. And in particular, then Metris, now DG, was a top sponsor of the William Osler Health Systems for, was it 10 years?
Yeah, so we don't want to toot our own horn, and many people, a lot of people sitting behind us in the industry are doing the exact same that we've done. But the industry believes that in order to build great communities, you have to have great healthcare. And I think no matter what, healthcare touches us all in the best of times and in the worst of times. And for us to be able to, and we're humbled and proud to support that, but we were one of the early donators to the William Osler Healthcare Foundation, and we gave a considerable amount of money to that program, and we are more than happy with how that has turned out. And we have and cheerlead all our colleagues in not only in here in council chambers, but elsewhere across Southern Ontario, as they are major supporters of healthcare in their communities that they develop. So we're proud and happy to do that, and I think that's the legacy of our company, is that we're not just here and gone, we're here for a long time, and we want to make sure that the community survives.
Thanks, sir.
Thrives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Pleshy. And Darren, you mentioned a motion for the deadline. That motion is on the agenda today.
Yes.
And the minister has told me it is a beautiful motion. So we'll meet that. And if there's any concern that Brampton is not going to meet the moment like the other cities that are declining the program, that's not the case. We understand it. And I think, I've worked on a motion with Councillor Pleshy. I believe there's unanimous consent. I'm going to look to council. Do we want to bring the motion up so that the development industry who's here and you need to go home and build houses, sell houses? Would there be consent to move the motion up? Yeah. Okay, seeing no opposition, and I would love to get unanimous support for this. And I'd like to move it with Councillor Pleshy, who's the chair of our planning committee. I just want to say, Councillor Pleshy has put a ton of work into this over the last 2 years. Deputy Mayor Harcourt Singh, I know you've been working on this as well, and just grateful that everyone recognizes this is a unique opportunity for our council and our city, that we can potentially have, as they say, our cake and eat it too. Build great recreation, have parks and subdivisions, at the same time give this critical cut to the development industry. Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that there was a staff report that was added yesterday, and I think they wanted to speak to this. But I think members of council certainly have heard all about this, even prior to Christmas, as when I first brought something forward. Like the mayor said, at the region, we jumped without a parachute. Fortunately, governments have come into play and continue to promise. Every Tuesday, we get a promise from the province saying that we're going to get a check next Tuesday. And the next Tuesday comes along, we don't get that check. But they make another promise that we're going to get a check next Tuesday. And with all of these promises, you can't not think the check is coming. It's going to come. Like it's we have great industry leaders, partners that are knocking the door of the ministers and of the premier, but we also have politicians such like Mayor Brown that is doing some great work. That his buddy Flack down at the province will be able to come to Brampton and deliver us a wonderful check. We have a ton of infrastructure projects that need to be paid for. They need to be put out to RFP. We have to get started on so many of them, and I'm really happy and supportive of a motion that sets that direction to and get staff to start working on that and put in those applications and throw everything at the wall as much as possible. I do want to ensure that the Environmental Education Center is on that docket. It's part of the application process. I know that it will be kind of maybe a little bit behind everything else, and that's understandable, but, you know, we certainly been working hard on that Environmental Education Center. That's a game changer for children that currently go to school right now and don't learn anything about the environment or anything about, they don't even learn about the 3 Rs anymore, which is an absolute sin as far as I'm concerned. But I have been working on this a long time, like Mayor Brown said. I believe that to be in this market today, and with the growth that we have, 152,000 people coming to Heritage Heights to build out with a 47% activity rate, higher than any other activity rate in the city of Brampton, the jobs to population ratio, this is essential for not only Heritage Heights, but you have Bram East as well, 47. You have so much other infill opportunities right across the city. I think that you know, this is something that we definitely want to do right. We want to get it right. Having that sliding scale from 30 to 50, I think, is what this council is prepared to support. Do I want to be able to say 50%, 100%? Absolutely, I do. We have $1 billion in backlog that we have to pay for, and now today we're going to say it's going to be 30%. I really wanted to say it was going to be 50%, but today we're going to say it's going to be 30%, and then it's up to you. It's up to residents to call their MPPs, and it's up to Patrick and his relationship with FLAC to ensure that we can get more than that and be competitive in the market today with the other municipalities. So with that, I'm happy to move this alongside with Mayor Brown, and look forward to hopefully all the other councillors supporting this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Singh.
Thank you, Councillor Plushy. I want to reiterate also your efforts. I witnessed them as Vice Chair, so thank you for everything. Thank you to the development community. I want to acknowledge particularly Mayor Brown. I know you knocked the doors federally and provincially. You've been pursuing this for many, many months aggressively. I think this is a measured approach, and I think it's a mature approach to the issue. So thank you to your advocacy. I also want to acknowledge staff. I want to acknowledge Steve and your department for making this happen. Chris, Government Relations, I know you've been working overtime, and also the Mayor's Budget Office for coming together for this overall strategy that I think helps address a key problem and hopefully gets the results we're all looking for. Thank you to all the staff. Thank you.
Okay. And Planning Commissioner, CEO, motion looks good. You know, it delegates it to you if, depending on the amount. So you feel confident this is, okay, good. Okay, can we have a recorded vote?
Dear Mayor Brown, regarding the motion on screen, I'll just note for members of the public, it is listed and printed in full on our agenda under item 8.2. All those in favor, please rise. And I see Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Power, Deputy Mayor Singh, Mayor Brown, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Paleshi, Councillor Brar, Councillor Vicente, and Councillor Santos. And for those online, Councillor Fortini, how do you vote?
I support it.
And Councillor Tour, how do you vote?
In favor.
That is unanimous. Mayor Brown.
Thank you to the clerk, and let's go build houses. I do have a request from Councillor Keenan that if council could indulge. We have little Miss Galaxy here, and she has to go to school. And because we've been talking so much about development charges, she is late for school. We don't want her to be late for school. Do I have council's consent to move this item up? Thank you. Over to Councillor Keenan to introduce the item.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I let it go a little bit because I know my kids wouldn't want to be in school, so. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mayor Brown. I'll just give a second for the room to clear. Well, it is my pleasure and Councillor Medeiros' pleasure to take a few moments today to congratulate Mahika for her outstanding achievements and contributions. Mahika is an 8-year-old resident of Ward 3 and 4 who has already accomplished remarkable things at her young age. She currently holds the title of Little Miss Galaxy Canada and has earned the incredible honor of representing Canada internationally at an upcoming pageant in the Bahamas. That's going to be nice. In addition to this achievement, Mahika has proudly served as Little Miss Brampton, representing our city with confidence, grace, and enthusiasm. Through her dedication, hard work, and positive spirit, she has become a wonderful youth ambassador for both Brampton and Canada. So on behalf of Brampton and the residents of Ward 3 and 4, myself and Councillor Medeiros would like to extend our sincere congratulations and best wishes as she prepares to represent Canada on the international stage. We're incredibly proud of your achievements, and we look forward to cheering you on in the Bahamas. Thank you.
Wonderful. Would you like to come up and say a word? Okay.
Can someone fix the mic? You can lower it, Steve. You can lower the whole podium. They do that for me too.
So hello everyone, my name is Mahika Kocher. I'm your Little Miss Galaxy Canada 2026 and your reigning Little Miss Brampton 2024 and 2025. I will be representing Canada at the Bahamas in August. I'd just like to say thank you to Mayor Patrick Brown and all the councillors. For the past 2-3 years, I've been working hard, helping community and charity, and doing lots of volunteering. I'm a big fan of sports because I do sports. I'm 6 months away from black belt. I am in level 7 in swimming, which is rookie patrol. And we just got the notice that I might be going for figure skating since I'm in level 4, but you have to go to level 7 and 8. But then they just skipped me. I don't know how. I'm in piano and guitar, and I do this tuition called Kumon. Thank you, and once again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for that. I hope somebody recorded that so I can go home and show my kids. That's very impressive. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
We have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Medeiros to receive the presentation from Little Miss Brampton. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to 6.2. Councillor Santos. This is for the 20th anniversary season of the Rose.
Good morning, mayors and members of council. It is my pleasure to officially kick off the Rose's 20th anniversary season, Roots Blossom Bloom, celebrating where we have come from, who we are today, and where we are looking to go. The 26-27 season marks a return to a full September to May season structure, features more than 60 performances, family experiences, community events, and artist development initiatives. It also marks a renewed focus on the Rose as Brampton's premier venue for live performing arts, bringing programming together under a recognizable venue-forward brand as we celebrate this important milestone. For 2 decades, the Rose has been an integral part of Brampton's downtown. As the revitalization of our city's core continues, it will remain a defining cultural destination where community comes together and the arts and culture continues to flourish. As part of this anniversary season, the Rose will host 20 Years in Bloom on September 19th during Culture Days. This free community celebration will feature performances, backstage experiences, family activities, local artisans, and special guests, while recognizing the artists, audiences, and community partners who have helped shape the Rose over the past 20 years. I would also like to acknowledge our community partners and supporters, as well as my fellow teammates from Cultural Services, Performing Arts, and also Strategic Communications, many of whom are here with us today for their contributions to the Rose's success. Before we premiere the trailer, I want to recognize the Strategic Communications team in particular for their outstanding work in helping to bring this milestone season to life through the 20th anniversary visual identity, campaign materials, and season trailer. Today's trailer premiere serves as the first step in the rollout of the Rose's 20th anniversary season. Staff will return to council on June 24th with the full season launch, including the season lineup and brochure. Thank you, and please enjoy the trailer.
As the world becomes more divided and artificial, we choose more together. More human. Music that makes your soul sing. Wonder that cannot be confined. Bodies pushed beyond what seems possible. Heartbeats that synchronize across the whole room. Immerse yourself in live experiences that make you feel alive. After 20 years, some things change and some things never do. The Rose presents our 20th anniversary season. Come together. Experience it live.
Exciting. Councillor Santos?
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. Very excited about this announcement. The Rose Theatre is 20 years old, 2 decades. I can't believe it. And we've seen in many years growth in the programming, exciting programming. And certainly when you come back, I think it's in July, you said, to announce with the June 24th, which is not far from now. Excited to see what the program for the 20th anniversary is going to be. So congratulations, everyone. The Rose is a true gem. It has the best acoustics and the best place to do live shows. So congrats.
Wonderful. Thank you. The Rose is certainly a jewel in our city. The clerk advised me we need a motion to receive the delegations on development charges in the presentation. So moved by Councillor Vasante, second by Councillor Brar. All those in favor, motion carries. This takes us to our next item, Jorge Neves, Cameos Day, and this is sponsored by Councillor Medeiros and Councillor Vasante.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brown. On behalf of Councillor Vasante and myself, in the spirit and also of council, in the spirit of recognizing Portugal Day today, we would like to recognize Mr. Jorge Neves for his outstanding contributions to the Portuguese community and to multicultural media in our region. For more than 3 decades, George has dedicated his career to journalism, broadcasting, and community storytelling. He began his career in Portugal before continuing his work in Canada and has become a trusted and respected voice for Portuguese-speaking residents across the Greater Toronto Area. Through his work with CRV FM Radio, which is part of the Red FM family, and later as program manager, CRV FM, George has informed, connected, and celebrated our community through news, culture, sport, and public affairs programming. His commitment to the community has helped ensure that Portuguese residents remain engaged and informed on issues that matter most. Beyond journalism, George has served as the ambassador for Portuguese culture and heritage, highlighting the achievements and traditions and contributions of Portuguese Canadians. His dedication and community connections has preserved and promoted Portuguese identity for future generations. On behalf of Brampton City Council and the residents of our city, I would like to thank George Neves for his many years of service, his leadership and commitment to the Portuguese community. We are grateful for his contributions and wish him continued success. Congratulations, George, and thank you for everything you've done for our Portuguese community right here in Brampton. And if you'd like to say just a couple of words, thank you.
Good morning once again. I would like to thank Councillor Medeiros and Councillor Vicente for this opportunity. It is an honor, especially on this day, Portugal Day, I know Martin since he was still running for office for the first term, and since day one, we had a show like on a regular basis, once a month, talking about Brampton and the Portuguese community in Brampton. At that time, our studios were located in Toronto. Right now, we are located here in Brampton, so I come from Toronto to Brampton every single day. So right now, this city is a part of me, it's a part of my history, it's a part of my job, and it is with a great pleasure that I'm here receiving this recognition. And I thank you especially for the Portuguese community, the way that they opened the arms and received me when I came to Canada in 2005. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Neves. And just, I forgot to mention, Mayor Brown, just very quickly, notwithstanding being on the radio, on a weekly basis, he's invited to speak on a major Portuguese station in Portugal. So he has a direct feed, and his direct feed is from his office right here in Brampton. So it's great to always see Brampton being recognized. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful. And Councilman Medeiros, who is he cheering for in the World Cup? Our next announcement is from Councillor Power, and this is a special announcement for Seniors Month.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. June is Seniors Month, and we wanted to recognize someone that's very special to all of us here on council and has been a leader when it comes to community advocacy, whether it be presenting to the city of Brampton, whether it be delegating, whether it be in the parks, in the community. He's always just got one quick problem, but that's it. He is a recipient of the King Charles III Coronation Medal in 2025. He is also the president of the Association for Seniors Clubs, which under his umbrella has about over a dozen clubs that report to him. He's been recognized by the Honorable Raymond Cho, the Minister of Seniors and Accessibility, as Ontario's, through the City of Brampton, 2026 Senior of the Year Award. So I'd like to present that to him with your help, Mr. Mayor.
And so we heard from the Minister of Seniors about this very special recognition. The Minister, Raymond Cho, is a good friend of mine, and he was elated to share the news that you've been selected for this prestigious honor. And so if Councillor Power could join me, and we could, anyone who wants to join, present this to the great Jambeer Sangi. Okay, this takes us to our next item. Over to the clerk. What is that item now? Yep, we'd received that. And a report on the delegations.
Through Mayor Brown, our next item is a staff report 10.2.2 was held.
Oh, I held that. So this is for insurance of volunteer-led events. I just want to speak to maybe, we don't have any event staff here. But I have heard complaints, Megan, yeah, and Megan's a superstar. If you could come up here for a second. I know we did some changes, but I've heard from vendors that it's making their events more difficult. Maybe that's a different change, but whether it was there's been a series of events where this part was raised. We have, whether you have a tent or a truck at these events, what feedback are you getting? And is there anything we can do to make it easier for these volunteer-led events?
Yeah, I think, so two different things. One is sort of in relation to this. I think the one you're, excuse me, more referring to is the food vendors and the bylaw that was updated last year. So that requires a special event permit through enforcement for if you're operating, it doesn't matter if it's a truck, a cart, a tent, any sort of food service now requires this permit through enforcement. So I think that's what you're referring to. We've been working really closely with enforcement to try and cut out some kinks there because it has been a little more administratively heavy, I think on both staff and the organizers. So hoping to continue working with them on finding some solutions there. This one specifically isn't exactly a change of requirements, but the city used to partner, and maybe Barbara, and I don't know if you want to speak to this more, but we used to have a if you will, in-house system where insurance could be, the city could take the fee for insurance and then pay the broker. We're not obviously in the insurance business, so we've partnered with a new company. So the requirements of insurance are still
Are not
the same.
changing.
Correct.
It's the same, okay. And just say, maybe
Just
it's
a different process.
and maybe it's for a different day and different opportunity, but you know, Councillor Keenan raised to me at the ribbon roll. We had bylaw there ticketing food trucks, and he says, we got illegal basement apartments, get busy doing that. At an event that was rained out, the last thing we wanted to do is be more onerous. I know there's always more to the story, but I think what we're hearing is just want to make it easier for these volunteer-led events, and I'm glad this doesn't add any new burden. And Megan, thank you for what you do. I know we don't say it publicly, but you are a linchpin to the city's ability to put on so many great events.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Councillor Pelushi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. I guess the reason why I had asked for this to come initially was from what I'm hearing that there is the changing. It doesn't really change for us, but for residents that are putting together these community events, it's changing for them. Something is changing, and it's becoming more labor intensive for a volunteer organization just to obtain some sort of insurance, where prior to that, when we were doing what we were doing, it was just super easy, and there wasn't an issue in getting insurance for anything.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to pretend to be an insurance expert, but from my understanding is we hadn't been doing it properly. Is the reality. And we were leaving the city as well as the organizers more liable because it wasn't being properly executed. So this new system makes sure that everyone is covered. So yes, it is a little more onerous, but it is ultimately to protect both the city, the residents, the attendees, and the organizers.
And that's fine, and I certainly support that to make sure that everybody's protected, but there has to be some other way, because what we're going to do with this, and the Nurturing Neighborhoods program, the street parties, things are going to start to happen where the application process is not, people aren't able to complete it. They're volunteers. They want to just have a barbecue on the street, and they want the city's support, and dealing with insurance companies isn't.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my team's really the middleman, to be honest.
Yeah, and I know it's
again,
not
I'm
you,
not
Meg,
sure if you
it's-
guys want to.
But, and then even for the Nurturing Neighborhoods program, the applications, we have to get back to something that's more simplistic for the residents. So, because we don't want to lose this momentum. You know, there are so many, especially in wards 2 and 6, just to highlight the two best wards in Brampton, the amount of, you know, people that are in the Nurturing Neighborhoods program, but the amount of barbecues that everybody has, street parties, it is going down a path that people are either going to just set up a street party by themselves, block off their own road, not get a fire truck, not get police to come, not get, you know, our support and just have a barbecue. And, you know, that's what we don't want. So even though I don't know who said we were doing it wrong, but, you know, from my point of view, if it works, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, Councillor Flesch, I think you touched on something. Even that community event we were at on the weekend, we got inundated with complaints from the Chevy Crescent about how difficult it is to have a volunteer event in the city. Something's not working right now. Residents are upset. And that's, whether it's right or wrong, that's their impression right now, that they're saying they don't want to do events in the city, be it's too much red tape. I'd almost say, can we send this back and come back to us on how we can make it easier rather than approve this today? And maybe sit down with the complaints that we've been getting to say, how can we resolve this? I think councillors could share with Megan in the meantime the complaints we've been getting. I know Belinda Tate is here. I know we've received a number of complaints to 311 about this. And Belinda, if you could download those complaints to Megan as well. But when there's smoke, there's fire, and the fact that we're getting complaints, something needs to be fixed. And so I'm sure we can find a solution, and maybe we refer this 2 weeks from now to come back.
I would go to staff to see how long do you need, because what's been set in motion, Mr. Mayor, if I can, all of the barbecues and stuff that are happening now are happening. We just want, you know, with the change, they're just saying that, and I've heard it, this is our last time. We can't do it like this anymore because, you know, we don't have that much time to do this. So if you need more time, you tell us in terms of, I think, what you need, and hopefully we'll be able to get to something before the end of the summer would be great, but.
We also don't want to hurt events happening this summer, right? And right now they feel.
We don't want to. So I think any time that there's anything that comes up, anybody that's flagged anything, then that needs to be looked at, like maybe a combination of both. And, you know, I guess an outcome that I potentially foresee is us kind of filling it out for them, doing the work, and then, you know, us being more supportive, which I don't want because that's just an added cost to the taxpayer. So I don't want that to happen, but in the meantime, we might need to go down that route. I'm not sure, but something needs to happen, Jason.
Through the chair, thanks, Councillor and Mayor. We can bring something back. I think we'll take a little bit of time to consult properly. I would note, I've heard of one issue that came up recently, and that single issue was around a number of options. Both insurance and events team worked with the organizers of the cycling event. They worked with some options around going through a city-held policy for the various participants. We are going to run into some issues, and I just want full awareness on a willingness to pay or not. And so sometimes it comes down to cost. It may not actually be the paperwork or that complex, but it's there was also some options presented in that scenario. The one I know about just around this issue, where the city offered to pay. It was still declined by the organizers, and so we'll meet with them and we can talk again. I know there's some questions that they submitted, and we'll take those away and meet with the group. But there's
it's not any specific event. It's the collection. When you have 50 organizations complaining about red tape, we have a problem. Sure. I think Councillor Santos has some illustrations. I'm going to ask the deputy mayor to step in for the next few minutes. I'm not sure if council members have heard about the tragedy, but we had a Brampton resident who was a police officer with the OPP and died in the line of duty yesterday. And so I have a statement to make with the media that are interested. I just need 5 minutes. A tragedy that one of our own young people, 29 years old, you have a 5-minute recess, so we can, maybe you could connect with 10-minute recess, and you can connect with staff if there's additional detail on this motion. Thank you.
And on that, Mayor, we are lowering the flags for that today at city facilities.
11:40. 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 11:40.
We have quorum again, and we realize this is more complicated. There's a series of items that we need to have addressed about events. And so we want to send this, Councillor Power mentioned the Trinidad Festival. Councillor Santos had an example. I know we could all, probably every member of council could give an example of an event that's having difficulty right now. I want to refer this back. And do we need to mention the areas that we want to see included?
Through the chair, I can take it with the events team, Mayor, and work with insurance, bylaw, all the issues. I'll send an email today to gather the inputs.
Insurance, bylaw, and the farmer's market complaints, and if you could include the 311 complaints as well.
Yep, we'll include it all and reach out to your offices too to solicit the feedback, and then we can bring a report back likely in the fall. In the meantime, we can work with each group on flexibility where possible so that things are not complicated over the summer months.
Councillor Santos?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification, there are 3 different things here that's causing some, I guess, the issues being raised by organizations and residents. So the first one is related to bylaw with special permits, particularly with the food vendors. So when this comes back, ideally it would be great to know what a better streamlined process would be so that the same food vendors wouldn't have to reapply every single time and every single event. For example, Jamie's Cracked Corn, who was at the ribbon roll, but then at the next event has to apply again for the same thing over and over again. The other piece, of course, is the SEAT program with respect to the broader events and the checklists and the insurance requirements for that. And then finally, a completely separate thing from what corporate services and legislative services do, are the complaints coming from residents who are setting up neighborhood associations. The complaints that I got, and I know Rizmin's on maternity leave now. I know that we'll figure this out without Rizmin here because we've got a great team. But their biggest stumbling block this year for the Nurturing Neighborhoods program is setting up a bank account for an amount of $1,500 to $2,000. So that is some of the complaints coming to us. And I just wanted to clarify that they're coming from, they involve 3 different departments. So when the report comes back of how we could make it easier front-facing to the residents and the organizations, it'd be great for the 3 departments to maybe all work together to make sure that it's not just coming from risk, but the broader picture of the experience of volunteering and creating these events.
Okay, so I think we see this. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to our, there was one, Councillor Medeiros requested consent to reopen the agenda from the meeting minutes. And it was the Columbian Festival that delegated last week, had hoped that with their delegation, we would cover the fee for the rental of the park. And they did a great job, and I think that's a fair request. Do we have consent to reopen the agenda to achieve what they thought they had asked for? All those in favor? Councillor Medeiros want to move that?
Happy to move it, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Keenan. All those in favor? Motion carries to waive the cost of the park rental for that event. Okay, this takes us to our next item, 12.2, and Councillor Vasante, I think, has a motion.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and this is in regards to the Seniors Council here in the city. They are planning to hold their senior summit later this year in the late fall, and had a great conversation with them together with Mayor Brown with respect to their plans for this event. And their ask is that the city help to sponsor their event and also to waive the fees for their use of the facility, the space, at Flower City campus. And so we have the motion on the floor. And yes, Councillor Keenan, it is in your ward. Yes, thank you.
So I believe they were asking for this is the seniors.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this is for the planning item? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so let's deal with the planning item first, and then.
Thank you, Mayor.
We'll remember the preamble for when your seniors item comes up.
Thank you so much. So both Councillor Santos and I represent, of course, wards 1 and 5, and we have an exciting project that has been in turnaround for a couple of years, but now under new ownership, we have a very exciting proposal that we both believe would be tremendously well accepted by the community, and also an opportunity to build in very short order 104 new units, with half of them affordably priced rental. And so we're very grateful to the applicants of this project for bringing this forward and for wanting to move very quickly on this, and in meeting the moment and meeting the opportunity, much to add on to the discussion that we had earlier today. We have an opportunity here to move very quickly on some residential units and looking to use some of the HAF funding that we have available, and also incentivizing the moving forward of this project. And so I have the motion here on the floor. Mr. Mayor, would you want me to read?
I think we have the motion on, if everyone can read it. I know it's a lengthy motion. I would just add that the Budget Office has been involved in this, and of course, we're involved in the Housing Accelerator Fund, and I think this is, the work has gone in to have a balanced motion that achieves getting this housing online as fast as possible.
Yes, and I will ask Councillor Santos to mention the two other very wonderful and exciting pieces to this application. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. And indeed, it's a great project. I know that there's work being done right next door on the neighboring site, and residents, the good news is that many residents, actually I have received no complaints from residents regarding that construction site. And I am excited because in working this through with staff and looking at some ideas, one of the things, as Councillor Brar and myself, all members of council, are working on is finding ways to support and address ending gender-based violence, intimate partner violence, a huge priority at the region as well at the city, and looking at the Arm House model where they partnered with a developer to create more transitional housing units, proposed the idea that perhaps this might be a good opportunity as well, not just to expedite affordable housing, but also expedite affordable housing to help women transition out of violent situations for second phase, third phase housing. And I know you're participating as well in the Break the Cycle Summit that's happening next Friday, June the 19th, as a partner to create solutions and ideas to end intimate partner violence in our region. So that's an exciting thing that we're going to be exploring on this particular development. And then the other exciting piece is actually for arts and culture. So they currently have a heritage home located on site, and they were planning to move it within the property. And I was so happy when they jumped on my idea that perhaps we could just instead move that heritage house and donate it to arts and culture in Brampton, looking at Central Public School, where there was a house for arts and culture until many, many years ago, before our time. That house was demolished. So it's a great opportunity in the way that we are rebuilding arts in the city of Brampton and creating more space for artists in the city of Brampton to partner with a developer and have a heritage home back onto Central Public School to support the arts. And so I'm excited and hoping that folks support the motion, and also thank you to Councillor Keenan for also working together with us to bring this motion forward.
Councillor Pellecci.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks to the area councillors. This doesn't start without a willing applicant. And a big thank you to Sunfield for all of the work that you did and what you bring to the community. But I also want to recognize planning staff and everything, all the hard work that planning staff did in trying to ensure that, something fantastic comes out of the neighborhood, and to Councillor Keenan, the work that you've done, Mr. Mayor. So kudos. This is a great, fantastic initiative. This is exactly what the accelerator funding is for. So thank you very much for being here and doing this and making the city better. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I want to close with one comment, and I love the partnership with Arma House here, obviously. But for this Housing Accelerator Fund, we sign agreements, and the agreements have to be honored. We're not building at the pace we need to. And so I just want to put it out there to all those who partner with the Housing Accelerator Fund, which is federal dollars. The minister has told me very clearly he wants to see shovels in the ground, and there's concern these projects aren't happening as quickly. So the proponent of this one, we want shovels in the ground yesterday. And for everyone else, for those other not-for-profits in the city that have utilized Housing Accelerator Fund dollars, use it or lose it, because if you're not adhering to the dates in your agreement, you lose it. So I just want that to be a very public message. Use it or lose it. Build now. Don't dither or delay. Don't dilly-daddle, as Councillor Pelletier said, because the federal Housing Accelerator funds can only go so far, and we want, this incentive to have the greatest immediate effect. And I'm concerned that there needs to be more urgency to construction. All those in favor of this motion? Motion carries. This takes us to our next item. (15.1). This is the Portugal Way commemorative street naming. Councilor Medeiros?
I'll take that hit. Just wanted to say thank you to staff and thank you to all of council. And again, I think today will be the last day. I think there's been a lot of Portuguese overload today. So I just want to thank council and give any opportunity if council wants to join. This is a commemorative signing. Why it's commemorative, why it's important. That's where the first Portuguese church was built, on the corner. Right across the street is Azores Park. And we will be launching in September what's called the gates of the city of Ponta Delgada. So that will be the most Portuguese corner probably in all of Ontario. So thank you to members of council. Thank you to Councillor Keenan and Councillor Vicente for their leadership, and Mayor Brown. And that's it. So I'm happy to move it. And if anyone wants to join it, feel free. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Councillor Medeiros and Councillor Vicente and Keenan, for your work on that. This takes us to our next item, which is the notice of motion, and this is from 16. This is Councillor Keenan's.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is just quickly, Councillor Medeiros and myself, we get a lot of complaints from seniors using the golf course at Peel Village for the increase in fees. Obviously, we've done so much to make sure that our seniors get to use recreation, and for the most part free. I find it hard that we'd be increasing for them to golf here. So I'd like to move a motion to reduce the fee back to the 2025. So just for council's awareness, for prime time, we raised the seniors fee by $3.07. And non-prime time, we raised it by $2.35. Understandably, this is budgeted out for what we need for that, but I don't think it should be on the backs of our seniors. I think where we can place this amount that we're reduction is to the non-resident cost of fees. If you're a non-resident in Brampton and you're golfing, I would like to increase their cost by those same amounts that we're reducing from our seniors here in Brampton. So that is, that will be moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Medeiros, and Councillor Medeiros wants to say something.
Very appropriate during Seniors Month, may I add. Councillor Medeiros.
Just very quickly, thank you, Councillor Keenan, for your leadership. And in fact, I play there every week, and I won't amend it asking for a councillor discount, but I pay full price. And but I do think I've heard this issue by various seniors. And one thing about Peel Village, which makes it special, a lot of the seniors who play there have been playing for 30, 40 years. They're all Bramptonians, live in the area. So thank you, Councillor Keenan.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Medeiros and Keenan. And we just had a proclamation today on senior loneliness awareness. And of course, to have social activity is completely consistent with trying to make sure that we've got great programming in our city. So I'm not a golfer, but I think it's beautiful that seniors are out busy at this golf course that is a public one. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. This takes us, I believe, to Councillor Visante's motion. I don't think you need the preamble, because we already got that. But thank you for bringing this forward, Councillor Visante, to support the seniors fair. My understanding is they are asking for a waiver of the Flower City Center, which we have done before, but also the $2,500 sponsorship, which is what they were asking for.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor, since we have dealt with the Sunfield item, Sunny Ways now for seniors, looking for support on the Summit on Aging. Thank you.
We have that motion on the. Okay, moved by Councillor Visante, seconded by Councillor Keenan. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our next item.
Dear Mayor Brown, the next item is 17, public question period.
So are there any questions here in attendance? Okay, we have one.
Good morning. My name is Cindy Evans, a resident of Bramalea. I'm going back to the insurance piece from 10.2.2, because I'm unsure of how that relates to community rides. If we are not going to get information about insurance until fall, I don't see how the community rides can go forward. My only suggestion right now is if council could add people to our ATAC, if not to the members, to make a subcommittee membership and add the people that have been helping us with community rides be insured so we can actually run the rides this year. Otherwise, they're not going to go forward.
The item that was emailed in is a question from David Lang on behalf of Bike Brampton is the same as yours. And it's a little bit more in depth. Maybe we can put it on the screen. But I think your question and David Lang's question, we can refer to staff to make sure we don't lose these community rides this summer. Okay. And I think like the previous item, the direction of staff was don't jeopardize events happening this summer. I think it's safe to say we all want that to mean community rides as well. Do I see consensus on council?
Okay. And
we'll direct this to staff to make sure that we don't lose, just like the events, we don't lose these community rides because of this provision.
Yeah. Is there a timeline or?
We'll work with you. When's your next ride?
Oh, okay. Off the top of my head, it's, well, of course, we got Bike the Creek, and then it'll be probably the following Tuesday or Sunday. I'm sorry.
Looking over to Megan and Jason, can you work with them to find a solution before the next ride?
Sorry, it's the Tuesday after Bike the Creek on Saturday.
Through the chair, Mayor, we'd be happy to. We've presented probably 4 to 5 various options, including the cities covering all the costs. So I'd like to ask that the stakeholder also come to the table in partnership, and we've got a lot of solutions for them. It'd be great if they selected one of them and that the rides will move on.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all those in favor of referring to staff to, Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my understanding that if the committee wants to create subcommittees, that's up to the committee. That has nothing to do with council. We don't approve subcommittees because it doesn't report to council.
I'm just looking
No,
for
I
a
know,
solution.
but I think if you didn't know that, now you do. So
Yeah, okay.
whoever can call a meeting, create a subcommittee, and if that's the easy answer, then get to the table with Mr. Tamming and.
Well, with all due respect, I wonder if the Citizens Appointment Committee could just appoint the appropriate number of people to our committee, and then that covers all of the insurance.
Yes, so I can't.
And I know you can call.
Speak to any decisions that were made, but I can speak to if that Citizen Appointment Committee called a meeting today, by the time we get applicants,
We have
and then have another meeting,
a list of people.
it'll be the summer of 2027.
We do have a list of people that have been working with us and know how to marshal.
And we
know how-
can't, unless we have when we established the committee, we put people on that reserve list. If we have nobody, then it's a whole new process. It's a whole new public engagement, wait for applications to come in, then cycle through, correct? Yeah. So I think your subcommittee is probably your best answer.
Well.
That's what I.
All right.
Trying to help.
I didn't know.
Trying to help. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our next item. Bylaws, okay. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Power to approve the bylaws. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our confirming bylaw. I have a motion moved by Councillor Madero, seconded by Councillor Keenan to approve the confirming bylaw, and that is bylaw, the clerk will insert the number. 99. Wayne Gretzky. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our next item of business adjournment. Our next meeting is June 24th, 9:30 a.m. Of course, we'll have a committee meeting before that. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, second by Councillor Santos to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries.